Hello, Wolfgang Croskey with Croskey Real Estate, and this video is for housing providers. And I want to just talk about what is normal wear and tear. I get it, your tenant just moved out and you gave them a property when they moved in that was pristine, it was perfect, everything was new. And now they've moved out and you got all these things, and you're like, that's it, I'm subtracting it from their security deposit. The reality is we live in California, we have properties in California, and the law is just, quite frankly, not landlord friendly. So subtracting from a deposit, a tenant security deposit, there's a lot to that. One, you have to get it all done within 21 days. And I don't just mean the accounting, the work has to be done, because in order for you to withhold from a deposit, you have to have before and after pictures to go along with that. So now you have 21 days to really get everything done. And that's a time crunch, especially if you have to do like flooring or paint. So it's important to know that time frame. Also, the law allows for what's considered normal wear and tear. Unfortunately, there is no list that you can reference and say, oh, is this normal wear and tear, or can I withhold this from the deposit? So honestly, here's the answer. The answer is, one, treat people like you would like to be treated, and two, if this were taken to court, how would it be seen? Would I prevail? Is it worth the energy of taking somebody to court over? And then we go from there. Because there's normal wear and tear, but there's also the cost of doing business and what's worth it in the long run, right? Because court, there's costs, there's time, there's stress, and you don't know the outcome. I can tell you that California leans towards tenants, so when you have a security deposit dispute, it's not really in your favor. So let's look at a couple things. One of the most common ones is nail holes. And so you can see here on this wall, the tenant just moved out. They have some small nails that were used to hang up pictures. Courts anticipate a resident having the right to be able to hang pictures in their home and to enjoy it. These nail holes right here are considered normal wear and tear. And, you would pull them out. You could leave them. What are the odds that a tenant would have the exact same pattern for pictures? I don't know. But what happens is when you require a tenant to fill in the nail holes, they'll do this. Now, it's not going to show up well on the camera, but this tenant did. And so now it's got to be painted over it, right? So it's best to tell your tenants, look, don't do your own repairs for nail holes. We'll take care of it. Now, on the other side of the room, this is, in my opinion, not normal wear and tear. These are deck screws, which leave much larger holes. It has to be dealt with differently. And so this is, I don't know what type of pictures require deck screws, but this is not normal wear and tear. This is a little bit larger than what you would normally expect to see. Again, those small nails, that's fine. One exception to this is wall-mounted TVs. When the laws are written, that wasn't a thing, mounting your TV on the wall. So now, is that considered normal wear and tear? And I've heard it go both ways. I would say that if it was professionally installed, maybe just leave the mount on the wall, because the odds of the tenant having a wall-mounted TV are probably high. So just leaving those mounts. If they are going to take that with them, having the professionally dealt with as far as filling the holes and painting is going to be required, because it's not a small hole. But is that considered normal wear and tear? I personally believe that a court is going to say, look, TVs are all flat screen, they're all mounted, or they're on furniture. I could see them go either way, whether that's considered normal wear and tear. So that's just something to think about. Let's look at carpet. So we look at this carpet right here in this room. It's about a year old. And I would say that this carpet is what I would expect to see. It was not professionally cleaned. So that's something that we require tenants to do, is to have the carpets cleaned before move out. But we do have some staining right here that I don't know if that's going to come out, right? And so that right there is not normal wear and tear. Well, how do I charge just for that one stain area? So there's a couple things you have to do is look at, well, what is the useful life of the carpet, right? It's only 1 year old, so you would subtract 1 year from the life of the carpet. and that's how you would go ahead and deal with that. We have another area of carpet that they must have had something on it, but it's I don't know, stained it kind of pink. Maybe some juice spilled and they tried to wipe it up. That's not normal wear and tear. Okay, so that will be coming out of the deposit. Here's something that we see a lot, not specifically like this, but what happens when there's a ding in the wall? Okay, it's a gray area. You know, what's considered normal wear and tear? Like it's expected that if you're living in the house, if you have children, there's probably going to be dings, right? That's part of living in a house. I don't know about your house, but I know my house, I have dings and things in the wall, and that was just part of living in the property. I would say here, this tenant only lived here a year. It's not in a high traffic area. More than likely, they probably had some furniture here that was rubbing, and that's what caused the issue, but that will need to be fixed. To me, that is not normal wear and tear. So this video could go on and on about what is wear and tear, what's not. I just pointed out a few common examples, but these are some guidelines. One, treat people like you want to be treated. Yeah, it's money out of your pocket, but the reality is if you go to court, you don't know the outcome. It's going to take time. It's going to take more money. And for what? So look at those really egregious things and start there. Realize that people are going to be living in your property. That means they're going to hang pictures. They're going to hang maybe a TV. They're going to live there. So depending on how long they live in the property would really determine what is considered normal wear and tear. The longer they live there, you go from there. You know, a house is probably going to need to be painted. So if a tenant's lived in your property for 10 years, trying to charge them for full paint, probably not going to work in your favor. Same with flooring. So you need to know what is the expected reasonable lifespan of carpet, flooring, appliances, and use that to say, okay, this carpet should have lasted 10 years. The tenant lived there in 5, but it's trashed. I don't have 5 more years of that carpet. So you would say, okay, I'm going to charge them half of what it would cost for the new carpet. So again, Wolfgang Croskey, Croskey Real Estate, and I hope this video was helpful.